Celebrating its 30th anniversary, Jurassic Park is a dino-sized blockbuster of immense proportions, and I thought, let's delve into this dino-sized adventure's 30-year history.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
They're moving in herds. They do move in herds. How'd you do this? I'll show you.
Jurassic Park would open the summer of 1993 and would go on to create a multi-billion-dollar franchise and go on to have not one, but 5 sequels. The franchise would even get its own mini reboot in 2015's Jurassic World, which would then go on to create its own mini trilogy, each resulting in over $1 billion per entry at the box office. The film's story would be first created by author Michael Crichton, whose friend, director Steven Spielberg, was ecstatic upon hearing word of the project and would go on to campaign Universal Studios to get exclusive film rights to the project even before the book was even published.
One of the things that the book deals with, and the film too, and one of the sort of shaping concepts, is that this kind of research is tremendously expensive. And the question arises, who will pay for it? And at the moment, for better or worse, there isn't any pressing need to recreate a dinosaur. And in trying to think about how that might happen, or who would pay for it, the only thing that I could think of was that it would come from a desire for entertainment.
4 other studios would enter the bidding war, with Universal Pictures winning the rights for $1.5 million. Film production would begin in August of 1992, with production taking place in both California and Hawaii.
That's great! That's a cut right there. Great! Fabulous! Okay, great.
It was very important to me to be a kid directing Jurassic Park, because like most kids, one of my first longest words was Triceratops, Stegosaurus. My dad would always take me to see the dinosaurs in Philadelphia, the Franklin Institute of Technology. There was a natural history museum there with big dinosaur bones. And so I made that movie really as a youngster, remembering how much fun it was to imagine with such yearning that someday wouldn't it be great to run into a dinosaur and meet up with one without being eaten by it. And I just remember making the movie with that philosophy. For everybody that had ever wondered and been fascinated with that whole era of the dinosaur, I want to make a movie for all those dinosaur lovers.
With post-production lasting until May of 1993, 1 month before the film's release. The film would go on to make stars of its main cast, casting Sam Neill as Dr. Alan Grant,
Be a pig going through a bullhorn, you know. So that was kind of more funny than anything. And the acting part was not laughing.
Cut. Very nice.
It's not easy.
Laura Dern as Dr. Ellie Sattler,
You're right. There's no trace of lilac berries.
I think Steven gets a kick out of that. My dream was to work with Steven Spielberg. And so for 20 years now, at any restaurant I've ever been in, there's a child under 10 that goes up to me and says, "Are you the lady who stuck her hand in the dinosaur poopy?" It's like, that is the question I get most commonly in my career.
and fan favorite Jeff Goldblum as everyone's favorite chaotician, Dr. Ian Malcolm.
Anybody hear that? It's an impact tremor is what it is. Fairly alarmed here.
Come on. We gotta get out of here. Now, right now. Go. Let's go. Hey. Start the engine.
Must go faster.
And we did close-ups, and I remember he'd never rehearse. Ready, Jeff? Okay, there you are. You're seeing the dinosaur. Oh my gosh, just keep rolling.
That looks great.
You're looking at it. You can't believe what you're seeing. Is it real? It now strikes you funny. You don't even know why. You know, and he's just talking me through it, and I'm kind of acting. I enjoyed that a lot.
The rest of the cast was rounded out by Samuel L. Jackson as Ray Arnold.
Sam Jackson was in it, you know, before he became a big star. You could tell Sam was going to get eaten by a dinosaur because they had him smoking earlier on when he's working.
How many lines of code are there?
About 2 million.
And the guy that smokes always gets eaten. That's one rule about dinosaur films.
Oh, Mr. Arnold.
Wayne Knight as Dennis Nedry.
Stick, stupid. That's a stick, boy. Yes. You like a stick? Go on, get it. And no wonder you're extinct.
Bob Peck as Park Warden Robert Muldoon.
Clever girl.
B.D. Wong as future franchise villain Dr. Henry Wu.
You're implying that a group composed entirely of female animals will breed?
No, I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
And Richard Attenborough as the creator of Jurassic Park, John Hammond.
How fast are they?
Well, we clocked the T-Rex to 32 miles an hour.
T-Rex?
Mm-hmm.
You said you've got a T-Rex?
Uh-huh.
Say again.
We have a T-Rex.
You know, it was interesting to watch Hammond's character suddenly realizing that he might have gone mad. He doesn't utter those words, but he's certainly feeling, what have I done? And only Richard Attenborough, I think, could have pulled that off with such dignity and also with such tragedy.
Ariana Richards and Joseph Mazzello were cast as Hammond's grandchildren, Lex and Tim, whose ages were flipped from the original novel.
He just hung out with us. He bonded with us. He played games with us a lot on the set. And in between playing games, he would throw in a question about our upcoming scene. And he worked with us so seamlessly that we would do anything for him in the performance on the scene.
So you really admire him.
says it.
To you, he's like a movie star because of your interest in paleontology. This is everybody else's equivalent of a Tom Cruise or a Kevin Costner or a Sam Neill.
I think that he just had a lot of respect for kids and had a lot of respect for their talent, you know, and their intuition. I always felt so much freedom with him. I always felt like I was a part of the collaborative process, you know, that it wasn't just he was telling me what to do or he was talking down to me. It was always, what do you think? And what do you think we should do for this scene? And he trusted my ideas and he let me do that.
And then my teacher tells me about this other book by a guy named Backer.
Backer. And he said, slammed on his face, and he slid. Good.
If you make a humorless movie about dinosaurs coming back to life in 1993, nobody's gonna care about your movie.
Why? And did I go too fast? I go too fast. I did a flyby. No, give me that big glass of water. We're going to conduct an experiment.
Those characters, when they're postulating, better have a little wit. And David Koepp gave it all the wit. Gave Jeff Goldblum his lecherous crush on the paleobotanist played by Laura Dern. And with Sam Neill being right in the middle, watching this guy hitting on his girl, where Jeff doesn't even know that it's his girl. I mean, that was all David Koepp's kind of invention.
Meanwhile, the Phil's dinosaurs would be brought to life through Stan Winston.
Well, I was planning to make the movie, you know, as much as possible with full-size animatronic dinosaurs. And the only person on the face of the planet that could pull that off was Stan Winston. He had an amazing shop. He had great artisans and he had great technologists working with him.
We're all dinosaur fans. Everyone who does the type of work we do is a dinosaur fan. So we said we'll do some drawings just to see if our concept and our feeling is in sync with what Steven's looking for in this film.
I had a chance to actually operate it myself, which was a thrill. Where the movements were so smooth and so authentic. You know, when it would snap its head around, it didn't have a recoil. The head would go as fast as you can imagine and would come to a complete stop and look right at you. Its eyes would stereo focus right on you. That was absolutely frightening to watch. And he also kept it moving. Even when it was still, it was breathing, it had muscles flicking, and he kept every animal alive.
We actually had a baby Triceratops going, which never made it to that movie. That scene got cut out. Plus, there's the famous scene in the movie where the big foot comes down into the mud. So that was going to become a separate animatronic piece.
The spitter, the velociraptors, the brachiosaur, or the T-Rex. Santa could give them utterly authentic movements, far beyond where we were technologically in 1973-74 with Jaws.
I think the first time we saw one of Stan's dinosaurs, we were filming in Kauai. It's a scene where we wander out and there's a sick triceratops which is breathing, and you could go right up to it and its skin was all wrinkly and real. It was extraordinary.
That was one of the cases where there was a dinosaur there, full size, laying down, and the 7 or 8 people who were operating it were unseen, kind of hidden from the actor's immediate view. And one person was working the blinking eyes and the tongue and the breathing body. And when we first came upon this thing, wow, it looked real.
For the bigger wide shots of the picture, the dinosaurs would initially be brought to life by classic stop-motion animation. But when Steven Spielberg saw what could be done through the use of CGI at Industrial Light and Magic, they would immediately switch to digital animation.
And then one day I got a call from Dennis Muren at ILM, who already had the job of doing Jurassic Park with Phil Tippett. And Dennis said that he thought that he could pull off a full-size dinosaur that would be authentic to the eye. And so he started doing tests. And the first tests he did was a whole herd of gallimimus, just the skeletal structure of the gallimimus, running through a still photograph of Hawaii. It was several angles of this. And it was so authentic and smooth, I actually said, well, that's the future. That's the way it's going to be from now on.
A couple of the guys, Steve Williams and Mark DePay, were trying to get even closer and do a T-Rex and see how that would work out. And it looked really successful. Then we decided, okay, let's go ahead and do a real shot. And Stefan Fangmeyer lit it, Steve animated it, and we got a shot that just knocked everybody out and was beyond what you could do with stop motion or anything else.
A videotape came from ILM, and we saw this image of what they had done, and we're just, wow, everything changed.
And this technology really kind of, changed my movie forever. And I think in that sense changed the world forever.
For many, Jurassic Park would be the first time an audience would get to say they saw a dinosaur. However, during production, the set would be hit by Hurricane Iniki, which would end up destroying some of the sets.
And then about 3 weeks in, Hurricane Iniki came in. We turned up for work one morning, and we were told, we're not going to work today because there's a hurricane coming in. Actually, it seems to be heading straight for us.
The hurricane hit dead on. Landfall was our hotel, and it was a Category 5 hurricane, sustained winds of 165 miles an hour with gusts to 185, and the hurricane lasted for 9 hours. I'll never forget when the eye of the storm passed directly over the hotel. We got out and looked up. It was beautiful, blue sky above, and just a wall of white clouds surrounding the hotel, slowly moving about like this. I'd never seen anything like it before. It was a special effect.
And then that night, we camped out and figured out where we were going to stay as all the lights were off. I remember Steven Spielberg, he had the flashlight. He was going, I'll show you how lighting changes a story. Horror story, love story. Horror story, love story. And then we woke up the next morning when the sun came up, seeing the devastation. It was amazing.
And it really changes a dynamic on a movie when you've survived something together. And I have never felt prouder as a member of a crew that I was privileged to work with than on the day of the hurricane.
Richard Attenborough slept through the whole thing. I have to commend him. When the hurricane passed, I said, Dickie, you slept through the whole hurricane. He said, oh, dear boy, darling, I survived the Blitz. So this was nothing compared to the Blitz. That's a true story.
Despite this setback, however, the movie would power through and continue filming till completion. Then it started its post-production as well as its ad campaign. Jurassic Park's ad campaign would keep things very close to the vest, with its initial teaser trailer only showing a mosquito in amber with roars of unseen dinosaurs, leaving audiences intrigued by this mysterious new movie.
The first discovery was made in the spring of 1990. From a mine in South America came a piece of amber containing the fossilized remains of a prehistoric mosquito, one of many that had fed upon the blood of dinosaurs. From the DNA in that blood, science was able to recreate those giants. And for the first time, man and dinosaur shared the earth. It happened at a place called Jurassic Park. This summer, director Steven Spielberg will take you there.
Even the film's main theatrical trailer had many quick, brief, obscure shots of the dinosaurs, not giving the audiences that would see it a good look at them. That way, the audience would truly experience dinosaurs for the first time when watching the film, just like the film's main characters.
It's a dinosaur.
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did it.
Jurassic Park would go on to be the highest grossing film of 1993, as well as be the highest grossing film of all time up until that point, only being unseated by James Cameron's Titanic. Jurassic Park would have a huge merchandising campaign as well. The film would go on to have a tie-in deal with fast food chain McDonald's, and was even responsible for the creation of the menu option Super Size, which was aptly named Dino Size.
In Jurassic Park, the place to go to satisfy a Tyrannosaurus-sized hunger is McDonald's, where something big is happening to your favorite extra value meal. Dino sizing. For just a little more, get dino-sized fries and a large drink in one of 6 free Jurassic Park collector cups. Dino sizing. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. And now at McDonald's, dinosaurs come to life on 6 Jurassic Park collector cups. Get one free when you buy a large drink or dino-sized extra value meal. But hurry, before they're extinct.
The film would go on to have many tie-in video games and toy releases as well.
Jurassic Park, where the giant dinosaurs live again, with all the excitement of the movie. Look for the JP mark, only at Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park was a huge success and became a worldwide phenomenon. The film would go on to have its first sequel to the dino-sized blockbuster in 1997's The Lost World Jurassic Park. The film would be a retelling of Crichton's second novel, as well as see the return of fan favorite Jeff Goldblum as Dr. Ian Malcolm.
What is it?
Mommy's very angry.
This film would also be the last time the franchise would see Steven Spielberg at the helm. The series would go on to spawn 4 more films, with the most recent being 2022's Jurassic World Dominion, which saw the return of the original cast, Neil, Dern, and Goldblum, as their original characters were brought into the fold for one more Jurassic adventure.
Ellie Sattler.
Alan Grant.
You didn't come out all this way just to catch up now, did you?
You coming or what?
Don't move. Bigger. Why do they always have to go bigger?
Jurassic Park is now a global phenomenon, a multi-billion-dollar franchise comprised of movies, a TV series, video games, theme park attractions, merchandising, and more. So many dino lovers and movie buffs has said to have their love of film and dinosaurs stem from this major motion picture, myself included. The dinosaurs themselves may be extinct, but this movie franchise is very much alive and well. Like Ian Malcolm once said, life finds a way.
Mr. Hammond, after careful consideration, I've decided not to endorse your park. So have I.